Good morning. I'm happy to introduce to you Professor Ciochetti. He's an assistant professor of business ethics and legal studies in the Daniels College of Business at the University of Denver. Professor Ciochetti is one of the university's most popular and highest rated professors. Professor Ciochetti joined BU after graduating with a law degree from Duke University School of Law, a master's degree in religious studies, and 2 bachelor's degrees in finance and economics, summa cum laude, from the University of Denver. In August 2006, Professor Ciochetti won the Charles Hewitt Master Teacher Competition at the National Meeting of the Academy of Legal Studies and Business. And in March 2007, Professor Ciochetti was awarded the Outstanding Professor of the Year Award by the University of Denver Alumni Association. He has been selected as a finalist for the 2008 Inspire Integrity Awards. He currently teaches classes on business ethics, business law, employment law, and constitutional law in a department ranked by the Wall Street Journal in the top 10 worldwide for producing students with high ethical standards. And Professor Ciochetti also speaks to thousands of individuals each year about authentic success and living an ethical life, and is the author of the book, right over here, Real Rabbits, Chasing an Authentic Life. A Colorado native, Professor Ciochetti resides in Westminster, Colorado with his wife, Jillian. Please join me in welcoming Professor Ciochetti.
No one ever gets my name wrong. I can't believe it. She got it right. That was great. Can you hear me? Okay. All right, good. When you come to talk to it, I don't know if this microphone is on, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Okay, is that better?
Try again?
Better? Yeah. Too much. You want to hear me, but not that much, right? Okay. When you're asked to come to an ethics and fraud day, you never know if it's because you're a good example of fraud or ethics. And so I don't know, I'm going to talk about both. And only the accountants would start me at 9:05. You go right at 9:05, and you're out of here at 9:50. That's it. You know you're with accountants at that point. Let me give you a little bit about my background and tell you why I talk about what I do. I started off in my life, I went to undergrad at the University of Denver, and I wanted to be a lawyer. Didn't know why, but I thought it paid a lot of money and it sounded fun. You know, and that was my track, and so I went to law school and I acquired $120,000 of student debt. And a lot of you are kind of going, yeah, I'm getting up there. And so when you have that much student debt, you go to a good law school, you think, I got to go to the best firm possible, and I want to make as much money as I can, and I want to work on deals with a lot of zeros behind me, and I want to make partner in 6 years, and you know, life will be good. Got to get a BMW, you got to get a really nice house. And so I graduated from law school, and that was my mentality. And so when you go to Duke, you know, doors open, and I went to the top-rated firm I could. One of the top-rated firms in the world. My starting salary was $10,000 a month. Think about that. And I was 26 years old. And we had 1,000 lawyers worldwide, offices in Paris and London and New York and LA. It was awesome. Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court was a partner in my law firm. And that's where I was. And I had a new car, and I went and bought a new house, but my first deal was $200 million. So think about that. I had everything I had ever wanted. Everything I'd ever wanted since I was in college. There was only one problem. I'd wake up every single day miserable. Well, it's not supposed to be that way, right? When you have money, and you have fame, and you're popular, and you're at a great job, and you have all these things, you're supposed to be happy. And I wasn't. Second day on the job, I'm not kidding you, a partner came in, slammed my door as hard as he could. Stuff fell off the wall. And he goes, "Are you an idiot?" And I kind of thought, for working here, maybe. Not sure. And he started yelling at me, and it went on like that for years. I went a week without sleeping. I was at the office for an entire week straight. And I'd sleep for an hour maybe on the couch at the office. And that takes years off your life, trust me. And some of us in this room have been there, right? And so after a year, I went into the partner's office and I said, "I can't do this anymore." And he said, "Why? What are you going to do?" And I said, "I have no idea." And so I tell my students and people I talk to, you quit if the job's not for you, but have a plan. Just quit, right? But I wasn't sleeping at night. I'm the type of person that needs to help people, but that doesn't mean I need to, feed the homeless every day. I just need to do something in my life where I feel like I'm helping people and sleeping at night. And so after that, I started my own company, and that was really successful. And then someone died at DU. You see, being a professor is a good job, and someone has to die for you to get it. But unfortunate for him, fortunate for me, I don't know. Right place, right time. And now I'm in the business ethics and legal studies department, and you're thinking, how can that work? Business ethics, law ethics, how does that work? It works well because the front page of the New York Times is my class. The front page of the Wall Street Journal is my class. And now I love what I do. And you've heard this. If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Have you heard that? But let me add something to that. If you hate what you do, then every day sucks. If you don't like what you do, every day is long. And I used to drive into the office saying, please God, let there be a traffic jam. I don't want to go get yelled at today. I don't want to be there until 9 o'clock at night. But if you don't like what you do, days are long. And you can't wait for the weekend to get there. So I want to encourage you to chase after your passion. Find out now, what are you passionate about? And don't just chase the money. So how did this come into a book and all this speaking? Well, I was sitting at DU, and John Bogle came to talk. Anyone heard that name? He basically founded the mutual fund industry, Vanguard Mutual Funds. Pretty cool guy. He comes to DU, and I'm a finance guy, and he didn't talk about finance at all. He started telling stories. And he told this first story about this racing greyhound named Cash. And the dog was world famous. And he was sitting on the porch one night with his owner. And it was a fable, right? The dog says, I don't think I want to race anymore. I'm going to hang it up. And she said, why? Are you kidding me? We're rich. We're famous. Guinness Book of World Records. Are you hurt? Dog says, I'm not hurt. She says, do I mistreat you? You mad at me? Dog says, you treat me wonderfully. And she says, are you too old? Dog says, I'm not too old. She says, why? Why would you give all this up? And the dog said this, after running and running and running all these years, I finally realized that those rabbits I've been chasing are fake. And I don't want to run anymore. So he told that story, and I thought, that's cute. A lot of you were probably thinking, that's cute. An hour later, it struck me, and I thought, that's profound. What he just said. It's absolutely profound. And I stopped listening to him, and I started thinking about my life and what I had always chased. Money, popularity, fame. I mean, that's what society tells us to do. Students, you turn on MTV, and what do you see? That, MTV Cribs, or Parental Control. Who's seen that show, Parental Control? Okay, only 3 people? All right, yeah, right. So what happens is the parents don't like their daughter's boyfriend, right? So they send her out on a date with 2 other guys, and the boyfriend sits at home and watches. Now, why he does this, I don't know. But he sits at home and watches with the parents while the girl goes out on dates, and they mic him up, and it's hilarious, kind of, right? And the girl comes back from the first date, and the mom says, what'd you think of my pick? What do you think of the guy I sent you out with? And inevitably, the daughter says this, oh, he was hot. That's all. I'm right. Shake your head. Okay. Then goes out with the next guy, and the dad says, honey, what'd you think of my pick? And she said, inevitably, Dad, he was smoking hot. Thanks. Not kind, not nice, not generous, not smart, not polite, just hot. Then there's a song on the radio by Nickelback, I'm sure you've heard it, called Rockstar. And you want a drug dealer on speed dial. You're not going to eat because you want to stay skinny. You want to key to the Playboy Mansion. You want to drive 7 cars. As if somehow these things will make you happy. Adults, when we go home, what do? We turn on American Idol. The first thing we do. When our neighbor gets a new car, we go over there and say, man, how much that cost him? Wow, is he upgrading his landscaping? We all chase things that don't make you happy. There's a famous quote that says you can never get enough of what you don't need to make you happy. Think about that. There'll always be someone richer than you. There'll always be someone more famous than you. There'll always be someone more popular than you. Now, I'm a business school professor. I'm a capitalist, and I'll say this. I hope everyone in this room is a millionaire. Because life's a lot easier when you have $1 million. Okay? But listen to me. Once money defines who you are in life, then you've lost. Once popularity defines who you are, then you've lost. And once fame defines you, you've lost. When you go into college, that's exactly what you want. You want to be as popular as you can. Right away. As if somehow that would make you happy. But the amount of Facebook friends you have says nothing about who you are. Let's be really clear about that. So make as much money as you can, but never let that define you. Here are 3 real habits worth chasing. I narrowed it down to 3. Number 1 is a contentment in your heart. When you wake up in the morning, are you happy with who you are? You see, that's really saying something. Because we wake up and we start putting on our fake face for the day. Guys, we put on our serious face, right? Who has a good one? That's a really good one. Guys, a great one, right? Women, we put on this face that any man talks to them, and give them this look. You got a good one? Let me see it. Let me see it. She doesn't have it. Who has one? Who has a good one? That's a pretty good one. Okay? And so, well, that's not who you are. But we feel like we have to project this aura of strength when we don't have it, this aura of confidence, and that's not us. And to a certain extent, you have to be confident, but I'd rather you be confident than try to project it. So when you wake up in the morning, are you happy with who you are? Number 2, relationships with other people. In order to have friends, you have to what? Be a friend. Let me define friendship for you. A friend is someone who comes rushing in when everyone else is rushing out. You see, Facebook friends don't do that. How many good friends do you have? You don't need 20, but 3 would be nice. Now, a good friend isn't someone who's committing the crime with you, right? Or who's out of the town with you. A good friend is someone who comes in when everyone else walks out. See, that's your friend. How many of those do you have? And the last thing you should chase is character. That's it. You can boil life down to 3 things to make you happy. 3 things. Character. But it's funny, I'll talk to adults all across the country, and adults too, and I'll say, how many of you are a person of character? And if it's a room of 500 people, 500 hands will go up, like clockwork. And then I'll say this, how many of you can define that word for me? I'm going to pick on you. And 500 hands go down. And that's bad. We just assume we have character, got that. Integrity, I've got that. I'm okay. That's dangerous in life. You see, Enron's mission statement, I'm sure, can contain the word integrity. And Quest and Global Crossing, these companies, sure. What does it mean? South Carolina called me down, University of, to look at their honor code. They flew me all the way down there, and I looked at it and said, I don't like it. They said, why? I said, it just says we'll have integrity without defining the word. It's useless. We've got to know what it means. Character to me means this, how you act when nobody's looking. As a matter of fact, that's the title of the last speaker today, which is awesome. We didn't even coordinate that. I like it. It's how you act when nobody's looking, and it's how you act when you're just around your friends. You see, that's your character. Everybody has character here. This is easy. But Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, when you're just with your friends, what are you doing? Are you doing things that you'd be proud to tell your kids about when they ask you what college is like, or are you going to have to lie? When you're all alone in that room and you can cheat on a test, do you cheat? You see, 7 out of 10 undergraduate business students have admitted to cheating. 7 out of 10. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 3 don't. And do the math all across this room, and that's pathetic. But my alma mater, Duke Business School, you might have heard about this. 33 students turned in the exact same paper. Who heard about that? At Duke Business School, one of the top 5 in the world. 33 students plagiarized. Here's what happens to those people. They get their promotion, they go to Wall Street. They graduate, they go to Wall Street. In order to get a promotion, they fudge a couple numbers. They get a promotion. Then, in order to get another promotion, they lie to a client. And they get another promotion. And then a company in Houston calls, right? And then they go down there and you're going to pay them $1 million. And that's when you hide money in an offshore fund. You see, those guys didn't just wake up one day and say, I think I'm going to commit accounting and securities fraud today. But I've been honest my entire life. You see, they started lying when they were your age. I can't prove it, but that's how life works. And I'll tell you why. Have you noticed that when you lie, it's easier to lie the next time? And when you cuss and swear, it's easier to do it the next time. And when you hang around people who cuss and swear, you cuss and swear. And when you hang around people who lie, you lie. But when you hang around people who are kind, you want to be kind. When you hang around people who are honest, you want to be honest. Well, the culture down there at Enron wasn't honest, wasn't kind, was completely greedy, and it's a groupthink mentality. And that's how it works right now in a group of friends. Keep that in mind. So that's character. Now you can define the term, and if someone asks you to raise your hand, you can decide whether you want to raise your hand. Okay, so I'm going to talk about character today. I'm going to focus on the third real rabbit. The rest I'm going to leave up to you. How do you develop character? A couple ways. Number 1, you want to be a virtuous person. And this goes back to Aristotle, 2,000 years ago. And he said, as long as you try to be virtuous, you will live the good life. You will be happy. And I agree. It's not a destination, it's a journey. Virtues are things that society inherently considers good. Who can give me a virtue? Yes, patience, thank you. Honesty, kindness, compassion, pride, humility, integrity, on and on and on. Those are virtues. And so what he would say is every person in this room falls on one side or the other of the golden mean of any given virtue. Let's take honesty. He says you can either have a deficiency of honesty or an excess. So if you have a deficiency of honesty, what do we call you? Liar. That's easy. Okay? Can you be too honest? It's funny, yeah, absolutely. I talk to CEOs all the time, though, and they say, you can never be too honest in our company. So I say this. Let me give you an example. Your wife walks into the room, and she says, honey, how do I look in this new dress? And you say, horrible. How's it going to go for me? How's it going to go for me? Couch. Right? That's couch. And so I tell that story, and the guy goes, oh, yeah, I guess you can be too honest. Yeah, that's called being blunt. So we're going to take a vote right now. Everyone has to vote. I'm an ethics professor. You can't lie to me. How many of you are more blunt than you are a liar? Because the rest of you are liars, so it doesn't matter, right? Okay, there's blunt people. You ever hurt someone's feelings? You ever hurt someone's feelings? I'm blunt too. I hurt people's feelings. We say things we shouldn't say. It's hard to be happy when you say things you shouldn't say. Liars, where are you? Liars. Have you noticed that when you lie, you have to lie to cover up your lie? And now your friends have to lie to help you out. So hey, we love lies. It's hard to be happy when you're a liar. And so liars, you don't start being blunt. Just stop lying so much. Blunt people, don't lie. Just stop being so blunt. And have you noticed, blunt people, that when you could have said something blunt and you bite your tongue, it feels really good? And liars, when you could have lied and you don't, it feels really good? It's habitual. It takes practice. Compassion. If you have no compassion, what are you? What do you call someone with no compassion? Yeah, they're jerks, right? They're cold. Can you have too much compassion? Absolutely. What do we call those people? Doormats. In college, it's easy to be a doormat. I'm guessing if you're an accounting major or business major, perhaps you're one of the smarter people in your group of friends. It's really easy to become a doormat in that situation. Give me the notes. I'm not going to go to class. Or she's really smart. Let's study with her. All of a sudden, you're a doormat. Or you get in a car and drive because you're the least drunk, which has to be the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And undergraduates do that all the time. You get taken advantage of. What happens to doormats? They get walked all over. Don't need any more doormats in this world. We definitely don't need any more jerks. There are far too many jerks in this world. And there are far too many jerks in business. Patience. If you don't have any patience, you're impatient. If you have too much patience, what? You're a pushover. Well, that's not my problem. I'm impatient. I'm an impatient driver. Anyone an impatient driver with me? By the time you get someplace, you're more mad than you were when you left your house, and then the rest of your day is ruined. Well, if I'm going to teach this stuff, I've got to practice it, right? And so, you have to practice being patient. I had a brand new car, I told you about it, brand new BMW, from the law firm, and I would drive in the slow lane for a month, behind buses, and minivans, and old ladies, and me. And everyone would look over at me like, what is that guy doing in that lane? It didn't look right. Does he have a flat tire? You know what? After a month, I was a more patient driver. And now when I get cut off, I don't always honk my horn. I don't always flip someone off. That doesn't mean that I don't have relapses. My wife is here. She'll tell you that, she's going, yeah. And so I decided, okay, idiot, back to the slow lane, and you go practice patience. But I'm more patient now. You see, when you're impatient, you make rash decisions. You don't treat people well. And overall, you're an unhappy person, so you need to be patient. Pride. Is pride a virtue? Absolutely. But how many of you have had an accomplishment and felt like you couldn't say anything because you didn't want to brag? Yeah. But that's wrong. You see, you should brag. You should be proud of your accomplishments. However, you shouldn't be arrogant. Arrogant is the excess of pride. What's the deficiency of pride? Weakness. And we know people who are weak, right? And they say, I'm not very good, people don't like me, I'm not very smart. Who knows someone like that? And we don't like those people, do we? We're just kind of like, come on. Well, we don't like arrogant people either, but I was watching the interview with Captain Charles Sullenberger. Anyone seen this guy? The guy who landed the U.S. Airways jet on the Hudson River. And I'm in Austin, Texas in a hotel room, and I'm watching this interview with Katie Couric. And the very first thing she said, you're a hero. They call this guy Sully, that's his nickname, and he says, in this voice, no, just do it yourself. And I started to get really mad. And I thought, you landed an airplane on a river in one of the busiest cities on earth, and nobody died. You're a hero.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and I was getting really mad. And so he wouldn't say it. And so at the end of the interview, they had his wife on there and his kid. He has a kid. And they were reading these letters from passengers on this plane. and their families. And one of them said, "Thank you for bringing my wife home safely." And the other one was, "Thank you for bringing my daddy home safely." And I'm in tears, and I don't cry very often, right? And I'm in tears. And the last one said, "My brother died in 9/11, and if I would have died in this plane crash, my family would have imploded. They couldn't take it." And that's it for me. And the guy finally goes, "You know what, Katie? I guess I am a hero." And I thought, "Amen, brother. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Next time you do something you should be proud of, be proud. Don't be arrogant. Don't keep it all inside. That's more on the weekend." Humility. How can you be humble and proud at the same time, right? Because humility is a virtue. Humility is this: letting other people figure out how cool you are for themselves. Let me say that again. It's letting other people figure out that you're a pretty neat person all by themselves, without you having to tell them. You see, that's when you cross that line. So we're all tempted to do that. We all feel like we don't get enough respect. We all think we're better off sometimes than we really are, right? And so you want to be humble and proud. So what does integrity mean? Going through all of this, how do you define integrity? And I think you can't. Blasphemy, right? Ethics professor says you can't define integrity. Here's as close as I can come. It's every virtue that we just mentioned rolled into one. So to have integrity, you need to be honest and kind and loyal and friendly, and courageous and humble and proud and compassionate and on and on and on. And when you are those things, you have integrity. You see, it's a mistake to chase after integrity. That doesn't work. But if you try to be more honest and kind, you're on your way. And so if South Carolina would have said that to me, we want to be students of integrity, meaning we will be filled with virtues, I would have loved it. But you got to define your terms. You need to put some meaning behind words instead of just using them. So work on those things and then ask yourself if you have integrity. And if you have integrity, you'll be content. And if you have integrity, you'll have real friends. Trust me. And it's never too young to start. Benjamin Franklin said, "We get old too soon and wise too late." And the adults in this room are going, But it's not mutually exclusive. You don't have to be young and stupid. You can be young and smart, young and wise. You can be middle-aged and wise. You just have to make some good decisions. Okay? And part of that is coping with stress, right? Which I'll talk about later. So, you're a virtuous person. How else do you develop character? Number 2, you can never rely on luck for anything. Remember that Bon Jovi song, "Living on a Prayer"? You're too young. Good song, horrible advice. If you go through life living on a prayer, you're just doing this, you're in trouble. My wife's a doctor. She has a friend who's a surgeon. She came to our house to show us pictures of her most recent trip. She opened up her laptop, and on her laptop was a fortune cookie, saying, taped up there, like, "You will be good today." And she looked at that for motivation. And I can tell you right now, her life's not going the way it wants to go. Duh, right? Because you see, if you're going to look at a fortune cookie and that's going to motivate you, you're in real trouble. If you need a saying to motivate you, you're in real trouble. When I was in college, I had my real estate license. And we were supposed to say affirmations every day. Anyone done something like this? "I will sell a house today. I will sell a house today." It's the lamest thing ever. Just go sell a house today. Right? You don't need to sit in front of a mirror and encourage yourself. If that's what it takes, you're in trouble. If you want to go through life based on luck, just open up fortune cookies and do whatever they say. Whenever I eat Chinese food, I have like 6 fortune cookies. I like them. I open up one, they said, "You will find the woman of your dreams." And I thought, yes. Right? Open up the next one, and it said, "You will find the man of your dreams." Someone didn't pick some up, right? But I thought, well, crap, now what? If you're going to base your life on fortune cookies, it's the same thing as just saying, "I'm a good networker. I'm a good interviewer. People like me. My parents know people." In this economy, that gets you nowhere. You see, when I ran my small business, I had 100 applications for every one spot. 100. And so it doesn't matter if you're a good interviewer. If your resume is no good, you don't even get the interview. So instead, I'd like you to earn everything that you have. And when you earn it, no one can take it away from you. No one. That doesn't mean you won't lose your job. It just means you'll get another one. You see, you need to earn your grades. Just because your math class is easy or your intro accounting class is easy doesn't mean that life's going to be easy. You need to build your foundation so that your next class you can ace it. And then you get your job and you're intelligent and you can get promoted the right way. But don't rely on luck. We do that too often. Who's heard of Jason McElwain, autistic basketball player? from New York. Anyone heard of this kid? Awesome. Write this down if you're taking notes. Jason McElwain, YouTube this kid. Anyone know someone with autism? It's a social disorder that affects the way that you interact with people. It's very serious. There is no cure. Kid has autism. He's the team manager. He never gets to play because the coach doesn't know what would happen. But before practice, he shoots baskets. And I'm a huge basketball fan, so I like this story. And he towels off people's sweat. He fills up their water bottles. Last game of the year. 4 minutes left. They're up big. Coach looks over and says, Jason, you're in. And the crowd starts going. You'll hear him clap. I got a video. High school kids are smart. They know that's Jason. He's coming in the game. Jason comes in. First shot, air ball. Second shot, miss. And the coach, you'll hear the coach. He says, oh, please God, let this kid just score. Then something amazing happens. Kid makes a three-pointer. Kid makes 5 more three-pointers. Kid makes a layup. 20 points in 4 minutes. New York high school basketball. Right? Let me show you this clip, and I'm going to tell you the moral of the story.
We had planned to bring you a story tonight about a kind of prep school that prepares football players for the NFL draft and big contracts. But we're going to call an audible. We're going to switch sports tonight because we run across an absolutely amazing basketball player that we want you to see. Here's Steve Hartman.
Ciochetti High School in Rochester, New York, has a new, most unlikely hero, a special ed student by the name of Jason McElwain. And you know, Jason is the basketball team manager. For the past couple of years, he's been assisting Coach Jim Johnson, helping with whatever the team needs. Enthusiastic, to say the least. Despite being born of autism, Jason's father says his son has never had a problem expressing himself in basketball games.
I was concerned that he might get technical in the movie game because he, young and whatever.
But no, all credit to up. All right. Let's do it for because he has been so devoted to the team. For the last game of the season, Coach Johnson decided to let Jason actually suit up. Not to play necessarily, just to let him feel what it's like to wear a jersey. At least that was the plan. So with 4 minutes to go in last week's game, Coach Johnson stood up and pointed to number 52, Jason McElwain. After years of fetching water and howling off other people's sweat, Jason was actually in the game. His first shot was a 20-footer from the right baseline. Was it close? Did you all want it? It was undesirable, but because I like to scare top, so he says he's going to basket. His second shot missed too, but the third was a chunk. A 3-point no-doubter. And Jason wasn't done yet. Not by a long shot.
If I wasn't there to witness it, I would have missed it.
See, if I finished up front, how high is this one? Jason ended up shooting 6 3-pointers. One right after the other. He had 20 points total, and each time the shot went in, his teammates and the crowd went a little crazier. The last basket, right at the buzzer, created total mayhem. Because he is autistic, Jason says he's used to dealing different, but never this different. Never this wonderful. Steve Hartman, CBS News, Rochester, New York.
Is anybody crying right now? If you're not at least teary-eyed right now, something's wrong with you. Something's seriously wrong with you. That's amazing. And they weren't really covering, okay? However, you can take a college basketball player that might not be able to make 6 3-pointers in a row with someone close to them. Under that pressure, never having played all season. It's amazing, right? But something more amazing came from this. There's going to be a book about his life in a movie, and he meets the President of the United States who's moved to tears based on that. Imagine something you did moving the President of the United States to tears. But even more importantly, they interviewed this kid afterwards. It's a little kid who has autism, and they said, Jason, wow, you sure got lucky. The kid said it's amazing. He said, it had nothing to do with luck. I practiced and practiced and practiced so that when I got my chance, I'd take advantage of it. And I can't make my bed in the morning. And I rely on the fact that I think I'm a good networker. Are you kidding me? Earn the things that you have. You see, you never know when opportunity will strike. And if you miss it in this economy, it may not come again. I got my job because someone died. Thank God no one's died since. Right? I wouldn't have this job if I wasn't ready at that moment to interview. How does your resume look right now? How's your cover letter? How are your references? Adults, I'm talking to you too. And how's your package? How's everything? How are your skills, your interviewing skills? Are you intelligent? Can you evaluate, synthesize, analyze problems? Or can you just memorize and regurgitate? Never ever rely on luck. I was reading the newspaper, and if you ever come across something like this, please send it to me. This is hilarious. A Wiccan accidentally stabs herself in foot with a sword during a good luck ritual. You can't make this up. A woman accidentally stabbed herself in the foot with a 3-foot-long sword while performing a wicked good luck ritual at a central Indiana cemetery. What? Okay, rely on the rabbit's foot if you will, but remember, it didn't work for the rabbit, because he's dead and you have his foot. The same is true here, right? This should convince you never ever to go to a good luck ritual and never ever to just rely on luck. Okay, what else do you have to do? So you be a virtuous person. You don't rely on luck. I want you to have a big picture perspective on life. I'd like you to see the forest through the trees. We don't do that, right? We look at every little thing in our life as if it matters so much. How many of you get a bad grade on a test and you think your life is over? Just be honest, I know you're there. That was me. The one bad test syndrome. If you get one bad grade, you'll never be successful. Adults, we do this too. Someone at the office looks at us funny. Hey, I'll never get a promotion, they don't like me. I did this at the law firm, I did this in school. I was looking at one tree, and the forest all around me was on fire. How stupid is that? I was losing friends. I wasn't talking to family. I had a fiance, right, who wasn't in the same state as me, and all I did was go. Useless. All I cared about was that one tree. But I'm stubborn, and so I had to learn the hard way. I learned everything the hard way, right? So one day, I had been dizzy for a couple weeks, and it was really bad. And so when your wife's a doctor and she finds out you're dizzy, she diagnoses you. I don't embarrass you. Okay? And she goes, you're dizzy, that's brain cancer. What? You know, can you say that to my good ear, please? What she meant to say is, anyone know a doctor, by the way? They don't speak English. What they should have said, she should have said, is dizziness is one thing that could happen if you have brain cancer. But that's not how it came out. She said, you need an MRI. So I go have an MRI. And if you've had an MRI, you understand it's miserable, and it's claustrophobic, and it's in the coldest room ever, and it just clicks. And there was a microphone hanging down. And they kept talking to me, saying, don't move, don't breathe, just stop talking. Right? But I was nervous. I thought I was going to die. Halfway through, I'm just sick of this. I don't know what's going on, so I get on my end, and I say, honey, am I okay? She's in there. And I hear this, shh, nothing. And I thought, I got brain cancer. She's just not going to tell me. At that moment, what do you think I was thinking about? My job, my car, my student loans, partnership, track. At that moment, I was thinking about her and my family and my friends, and I'm a religious guy, and I was thinking about God, and that's it. That is it. So I'll say the most important thing I'm going to say to you all day right now. If it's important enough to think about when you think you're dying, why is it not important enough to think about every day of your life? You see, that's ridiculous. And when you think you're dying, all of a sudden, your family comes first. But when you're healthy, they're irrelevant. They come fifth. You see, that's wrong. If it's important enough when you're dying, it should be important enough every single day. And it changed my life. It changed my outlook on life. My priorities are much different now. You see, I used to put work first. And now work comes fifth. And you say, how can that be? Well, at my law firm, it couldn't be. If work was fifth at my law firm, I would have been fired. So here's a piece of advice. Pick a job where work can come fifth. You see, it comes fifth at DU. But I have the highest student ratings of any faculty member at the entire university. 5.99 out of 6. And it comes fifth. That does not mean that I don't work hard. I work 60, 70-hour weeks. But if it comes down to seeing a movie with her or working out at lunch, I'll do that. Doesn't mean I don't have to grade those papers. I'll grade them. But you'll get them back a little bit later. Now, you don't like that. And I understand that. But with a finite amount of time in life, I have to make decisions. DU knows that if they ask me to work weekends and to work nights, I quit. So guess what? They don't ask me. If you're good at what you do, you can put work a little lower. That doesn't mean I don't go to faculty meetings. I don't work hard. Yes, I do, but it's more on my schedule. So I encourage you to kind of find a job, find a career that fits with your priorities. That doesn't mean you have to work out every day at lunch. It just means, what do you want to put first? And put it first. If you don't, you'll be disappointed because your heart wants something and you're not giving it to it. Make 2 lists. One list is your priorities as you desire them. And the other list is your priorities as you currently live your life and connect the dots. Family to family. You want family 1, but family comes 4. You want school or work to be 4, but school or work comes 1. And so you have diagonal lines. And when you have diagonal lines, you won't be happy. You have a priority mismatch. You want family to come first? Then put it first. You want work to come fourth? Then put it fourth. And you have parallel lines. Now, will you take a pay cut? Probably. Will your job not be as prestigious? I don't know. But who cares? Because I'd rather be happy than have a great job on my resume. And I think I have a great job. You just have to find the job for you. Priorities and perspective. And the last thing I'm going to talk to you about. Every day I want you to do 4 things. Every single day I want you to do 4 things. And I kind of stole this from Jimmy Valvano. Anyone know Jimmy Valvano? Famous basketball coach from North Carolina State. He actually did die of cancer. And by the way, UNC won. And that's just terrible, right? When you're a Duke guy, nothing is worse. But North Carolina State, they're okay. And he was dying of cancer, and he said every day you should do 3 things. And if you get a chance to watch his speech at the ESPY Awards, you should watch it. He said every day you should do 3 things. You should think, you should laugh, and you should have your emotions stirred. And he's right about all of that. Students, you go entire summers without thinking. That's right, I said it. Spring breaks. Students come back from study abroad, and they say to me, wow, it's really hard to get back into the flow. And I say, you just studied abroad. The kid says, no, I just partied in Spain. Study abroad has a problem. We need to fix that. That's a separate issue. Right? Every day you should laugh, and every day you should have your emotions stirred. So let me give you my list, and it kind of goes along with that, but I agree with this. Every day, number 1, you should hustle, which has a negative connotation, but it also has a positive connotation. The hustle means to try hard. Who played sports as a kid? And the coach would say, hustle, Ciochetti, hustle, come on. It means try a little bit harder. And I've noticed something. In your generation, younger generation, you're lacking competitiveness. Not everyone, but in general, you are. And if I have an otherwise smart student, and she's in the bottom 20% of my class, she doesn't care. You see, I would have cared a lot. That would have driven me crazy. You don't have to be first in the class, but if you're in the bottom 20%, you're smarter than that, you need to care. Well, see, parents, it's our fault. A little bit. Here's one. We poo-poo competitiveness. My little cousin plays soccer. He doesn't win. They score more goals than the other team. And so I pull him to the side and I say, Blake, you won. Try to win. You can't play dodgeball. Did you know that? In elementary schools and junior high schools, you can't play dodgeball anymore. Why? Because they call it warlike. And I'd like to take a middle school principal and have him go over to Afghanistan and sit in a village that was attacked by the Taliban and ask those people if that at all resembles a second-grade dodgeball game. You see, instead of banning dodgeball, you say, don't throw the ball at that girl's head. You teach healthy winning. Win with integrity. You see, what we've done to avoid over-competitiveness and bullying is we've gone too far to this side. The efficiency of competitiveness. And kids, you've got it. You've got some of that in you. And it's partially adults' fault, and it's partially yours. And I'd like you to hustle a little bit more. I'd like you to try a little bit harder. Get up in the morning and shower. I'm not kidding. I look at my disposal, mostly guys. In my class, they wear the same t-shirt 4 days a week. Looks like they haven't showered in weeks. Are you kidding me? Get up in the morning and shower. Eat 3 meals a day. Work out. Try to go to bed before 3 a.m. and get up before 10. You see, that's how you prepare yourself for life. Be competitive. Try to win. Win the right way. But try to win. You know why? Your boss is going to expect you to win. And if you're not competitive, your job, you're expendable. But win with integrity. I was watching lacrosse. Anyone play lacrosse? I was watching the Duke lacrosse kids. I wanted to support those kids. They were a lot of things, right? They had strippers, drugs, and alcohol at the party, but they weren't rapists. And so I wanted to watch and support those kids. And I'm watching lacrosse for the first time. And I watched these kids just diving at nothing. I'm thinking, what the world's wrong with that game? The announcer gets on and says, when the ball goes out of bounds after a shot, whoever's closest to it gets it. And it's really cool to watch 5 guys, athletic guys, just dive at nothing. And I asked myself, when was the last time I dove for something? When was the last time in your life you actually dove for something? You put your neck out. You see, if your life right now is too easy, then you're not trying. It's like that Garth Brooks song, life isn't tried, it's merely survived if you're standing outside. Your life is easy right now, but you're not trying hard enough. When was the last time you dove for something? When was the last time you got competitive in the right way and tried? Young people, I'm talking to you. And adults, I'm talking to you. It's really sad when I see an adult who comes home from work and just sits in the lazy boy and watches TV all night. Never does anything to improve his or her life. That drives me crazy because this world has major problems. Who's going to solve those problems? It's the people in this room generally who are going to solve those problems. You need to hustle. Every day you need to fight. I'd like you to have some fighting in for the things that matter. So that's the second thing. That doesn't mean go play basketball at lunch and fight with the old kids. It's so hilarious to watch 50-year-old guys actually trying to push each other at basketball. That's the wrong kind of fighting. Fight for things that matter. If you have a relationship right now that's struggling, and it can be fixed by you saying you're sorry, or just talking it out, and you don't, that's terrible. You conduct your relationships via text message? I hope not. Young people, when you do that, right, our entire relationships are conducted via text, and that's pathetic. Kids in my class, they go underneath their chairs, they have their phones, and they go like this, like I don't know what you're doing. You're going to waste your time in my class texting someone. So every time I see that, I assume it's for me, and I take it. And I read them, and it says, going to the bar tonight, inevitably it says, Susie going to be there? What's Susie wearing? Who cares? You're in a class at University of Denver, it costs you $400 every time you sit in that chair, and you care what Susie's wearing? That can wait for break. That can wait for break or not at all. You see, text messaging is only for, I'm at the airport, pick me up, I'm downstairs, or how do I find this, Denver Hall? Whatever this is called. That's what it's for. That's what text messaging is for. But it's not to conduct relationships. I have a buddy, Duke Law grad, 33 years old, and he dates women via text. And so he called me one day and he said, oh man, I met this girl, she's hot. Right, of course. What else would she do? And he said, but you know what? She doesn't like me. I said, how do you know? He said, she doesn't put a little smiley face at the end of her text. Duke Law grad, 33 years old. Okay, I'm assuming that's bad, so I don't text, right? And so I said, why don't you call her? And he said, nah, she won't answer. Okay. 2 weeks later, he calls me. He says, I guess we're breaking up. Why? She stopped texting me. Why don't you call her? She won't answer. So I guess it's over. Do you like her? Oh, yeah, I really like her. But too bad, I guess it's over. Now, somehow they found a way to meet up, never having talked on the phone. So, good for them. But he wanted that relationship, and he wouldn't fight for it. If there's a relationship in your life right now that's important, I expect you to fight for it. You see, we're not guaranteed another day on this earth. Do you understand this? I don't want you to live every day as if it was your last, because we all go to Vegas. Live each day as if it could be your last. Train wreck, plane crash, cancer, school shooting. You don't know. Have you hugged everyone you wish you would have hugged? Or have you just texted them? Fight the things that matter. Third thing I want you to do every single day is listen. Listen. Okay. Every day listen. How many of you have noticed that human beings have 2 ears and 1 mouth? Who's noticed that? Okay, so you didn't notice that. 1 ear here, and 1 ear here. So we're talking about listening, right? I want to make sure you're listening. Be an active listener. Don't be selfish about just wanting to talk about yourself. I want you really to listen. Every single day. See, when you listen, you glean information. And people like people who listen. But I found that the higher up you go in the hierarchy of companies, the less people listen. Good leaders listen. Good leaders are good listeners. And the last thing I want you to do every single day is laugh. Laugh. We take ourselves far too seriously, don't we? And faculty, I know you're in here, we're the worst offenders of all. How many of you have seen a faculty member just walking across campus with you? And this is how they walk, too. I don't know why. They just gotta go like this. Why do we take ourselves so seriously? My wife says the average person farts. I said fart 14 times a day. How dare you not laugh when you fart 14 times a day? How dare you? Think back to the stupidest thing you've ever done in your life. Think back to the stupidest thing. And ask yourself, how do I ever take myself seriously? Let me tell you some of mine. Okay? I ironed my own neck from here to here. I had a dress shirt on. I was going to an interview in the law firm. Okay? Let me answer some questions that might be arising before I go any further. Number one, there wasn't a woman within 5 miles of me. Because she would never have allowed that to happen. Right? And I hate to stereotype, but I had some lady come up to me and she goes, I hate it when people stereotype me. You know what? No woman ever would have let me do that. But guys, we do stupid stuff. So I turned on the iron, and the second thing I want to clarify is I was running late, or this never would have happened. But I'll be late. I turn on the iron, I'm just going to get this one wrinkle, and bam, got myself here to here. So, looked like I tried to kill myself. I walked into the interview, and the guy goes, he actually said to me, "What happened? Did you try to kill yourself?" And I can't say, I ironed my own neck. So, please hire me for your mergers and acquisitions practice, right? Oh, great. So I went like this, and I said, "Oh, that's Acme." Didn't get the job. I mean, obviously. 4 months ago, I'm pulling out. This is winter in Colorado. I'm leaving DU. I'm about to get onto I-25. I look up at my dash, and there's a bee. Now, I'm not a scientist, but shouldn't bees be doing something else? Like mating or whatever in the middle of winter? I don't know. There he was. And I'm scared of bees. Anyone scared of bees? Okay, good. And so he's looking at me like, "You know what's going to happen next, man." I'm like, "I'm going to sting you." And I'm on the phone with my wife, and I said, "Oh my God, there's a bee in my car." She goes, "Just use your hand and knock it out the window." And I said, "No way. I mean, no way. That's a bee." She goes, "I can't help you anymore." Because if you're going to be an idiot, then you're going to be an idiot by yourself. So the deal I was in my car, alone and afraid. But I went to law school. Do you have my wallet? I went to law school, so I developed a plan. I looked around my car for a weapon, okay? Found one. I rolled down my window. I said, "Okay, I'm going to get this guy." But I didn't want to hurt him, right? So I just went like this, and just, nudged him out. It wasn't my hand, but, and I didn't get him my fist. And so now he's mad, right? And I thought, I've got one more chance at this. Now remember, this is all happening very quickly. So I'm going to get him. So I went like this, threw my wallet out the window. So I had to run, I had to get out of my car. It's rush hour in Denver. I had to dodge traffic, University Boulevard, pick up my wallet, I pulled my bag, I followed back like this is what nurses walk like this. I followed back in my car, I got in, I missed the light, I got honked at, and the bee was still in there. How can I ever take myself seriously? Ever. Last story. Happened a week ago. I'm at A Bauer buying a new pair of jeans. Okay? I'm trying them on the dressing room. She's there with me, so she's good. All my stories involve you, but I don't know. But so I think she's coming to the dressing room. I hear footsteps. The store is empty, right? So I have my boxers on and no shirt, and I thought it was her. And I said, "Oh, to the door." "Hey, honey." And this lady goes, "Oh, God." And it wasn't like, "Oh, God." It's like, "Oh, God." So every time I take myself seriously, I get back to those things, and I laugh. Every day I want you to laugh. Remember what it's like to laugh. If you're too stressed out, it's tough to laugh. Every day I want you to do those 4 things. What's the goal? What happens when we do all these things? What happens when we act virtuously? When we don't rely on luck, when we earn what we have, when we have priorities, when we hustle and fight, listen and laugh, what happens? You'll shine. You'll be one of those people where someone will come up to you and give you the biggest compliment you can give another human being. And that's this. You seem truly happy. Tell me why. You see, that's the biggest compliment someone can give you. But they won't give you that compliment if you're not honest. And if you're not kind, and you're not compassionate. And if you don't have integrity, and if you have a little picture perspective, and if you don't try very hard, if you don't listen, if you never fight for things that matter, and if you never laugh, people will never ask you. But if they do, you have an obligation to pay it forward and tell them the rabbit story. You see, it's not mine. John Bogle gave it to me. I turned it into a book that's impacted tens of thousands of lives. And hopefully the readers of that book are impacting hundreds of thousands of lives. See, that's how that works. In a society filled with fraud and corruption, the only chance we have, you see, because I'm competing against MTV, the only chance I have is for you to take this message and pay it forward. It's the only chance this world has to be ethical. Social Security, Medicare, trillion-dollar deficits. Who's going to solve those problems? It's you. If you're not going to do it ethically, I'd rather you not help. Solve those problems ethically. We have enough people doing it unethically. It's like court TV every day in my class. And these executives are perp walking to jail. But don't let the fear of jail be what stops you. Say to yourself, I have integrity. And I will not be one of those 7 people who cheats. And I will not be one of those 33 people who turns in the exact same paper. Because that's not who I am. I'm going to end with this. This is a poem by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Let's compare this to the Nickelback song. Success is this: to laugh often and love much, to win the respect of intelligent persons and the affection of children, to earn the approbation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in everything, to give of oneself, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or redeemed social condition, to have played and laughed with enthusiasm, and to have sung with exultation, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. Close your eyes, I want to ask you some questions. Do you laugh often? Do you love much? Do smart people respect you, right? Not your dopey friend? Do kids like you? How do you handle constructive criticism? How do you endure the betrayal of a friend? Do you appreciate beauty? Is your glass half full or half empty? Do you give of yourself, truly give of your money and your time? Do you play and laugh with enthusiasm? Do you sing with exultation? And most important of all, whose life is better because you have lived? I met a girl in South Carolina. She's 18 years old. She's paying her brother's way through school. And I thought, his life is better because she's alive. And I asked myself, gosh, if she can do that, I can do anything. Whose life is better because you're alive? See, that's what life's all about. It's doing something that impacts the greater good. And if money comes with that, great. If money comes with that, wonderful. But you do something in your life that impacts the greater good. And when you do that, you'll be authentically successful. Okay, thanks for having me.